Yeah, Bobby, I can't talk right now. I need to go back in time and become a much younger version of myself and hang out with Marilyn Monroe. Yeah, I don't know why, but I just have to do it. Oh, wait, hold on. Getting a call. Sam? Blonde, released in 2001 and is directed by Joyce Capra, who is also behind such films like The Disappearance of Nora, The Corpse Had a Familiar Face, Replacing Dad, and The Lady in Question. And this film is starring Poppy Montgomery as the iconic role of Norma Jean Baker, also known as Marilyn Monroe, Patricia Richardson, Patrick Dempsey, Kirstie Alley, and Margaret. And the reason why this film was recommended to me, a very young Jensen Ackles. The reason why we're talking about Blonde today is because it was a PayPal recommendation and donation from one of my contributors and subscribers on this channel, Edvard Michelson. Thank you so much for the recommendation. I had never heard of this particular film. I have seen a couple of one-woman shows about Marilyn Monroe that I thought were actually well done, and she's an amazing icon that so many people have parodied and copied over the years. She was really like the first major pop celebrity, I want to say. I don't know. I don't know the extensive history of Marilyn Monroe. There are historians like with her and Elvis and just all those famous figures all throughout the last 100 years that I don't know how. I'm no expert on it. But you sent this one in with another movie recommendation called The Midwife, and I gotta be honest, I don't know if you're watching this right now, but I'm having a hard time finding this film called The Midwife, or this foreign film. I'm having a hard time finding it in the English language so I can comprehend what's going on. So if you know of a link or somewhere where I can find it, please shoot it in the comments and let me know so I can watch it and fulfill that PayPal recommendation for you. Blonde is a fictional biographical telling of the life and times of Norma Jean Baker, who would later become known as Marilyn Monroe by the film studios, and we see her bright-eyed hopefulness in the start of her career to when it eventually all falls apart with painkillers, drugs, and being used by every single man she comes in contact with. Yeah, I want to start this review off right and formally issue an apology on behalf of my gender and just men all throughout the world. I'm sorry. I am fucking sorry. Men suck. I know there are good men out there. I like to think of myself as a good man, but, you know, who knows? I'm judging myself. That's not fair. Majority of men suck. And after watching this movie, there's not a single good man in this entire film. Arthur Miller, a little bit, even though he ended up lying to her and betraying her trust. So yeah, in the end, all men suck. That's basically the message of this movie. Men fucking suck. But if you look at the history of the world, there is a lot of evidence to support that statement. This movie was a made-for-TV film, and you can definitely get that sense with the quality of the cinematography and the lighting choices. Hell, even the casting choices, you can tell that this is a made-for-TV film. Because back in the late 90s, early 2000s, the idea that, oh, I could be a famous film star and be in the movies, but then also do television, was, you just didn't do that. There was a separation. Unlike with the whole rise of the streaming services, now you see Academy Award-winning actors come in and play famous TV roles. Nowadays. You didn't have that back then. So you see actors on here like Kirstie Alley, and you go, yeah, this was for TV at this point. Yep. Now when this film starts, it says that it is a fictional telling of this person's life, even though it's based on actual events, and the people in here are actual people. This film is still fictional. So, if there are any Marilyn Monroe historians out there watching this review, how accurate is this film to her life and what she did and how she was treated? This was the 40s, this was the 50s. Women were treated a certain way back then. So, I could easily believe that what happens to her in this movie did actually happen. So, would that make it non-fiction then? Why is this fictional? It's very confusing. I felt myself attaching to Norma Jean this entire time and just feeling so sorry for her. She just wants to perform and she just wants to live and love life. And yet here are all these men, studio heads and photographers and agents, all controlling her, owning her, and pawning her off on other things. Oh, you owe us 5 movies, so we're gonna stick you in this, and you have no say about it. It's gross, it's disgusting, and ugh. And I immediately engaged with this character in the first 30 minutes, and seeing her upbringing with a very abusive mother. Not like physically abusive, but emotionally abusive. I attached to that because my childhood was very emotionally abusive as well. My parents were fine. They did their best, but they also did things that did affect me emotionally and traumatize me emotionally, as I'm discovering now as an adult. So to see this young kid go through it with this makeshift mother of hers is so heartbreaking. And she has the best attitude about the worst situations. Again, this is fictional, so I don't know if Marilyn was actually like this in real life, but she is treated like dirt by her mother, people that she loves, people that should be caring for her, next door neighbors, movie studio heads, agents. But she always has something nice to say about them, and she always puts a smile on her face whenever she talks about them. You look at her childhood, she has a terrible childhood, but yet here she is in her little interview process, and she's saying, no, I had a good childhood. I loved my mother. Maybe it wasn't the best childhood that anyone else has had, but I had a great childhood. No, it was not good. It was not. Stop trying to defend them. They did not do you right. And I just mentioned it as one of the aspects that kind of brought me out of the film and I thought was extremely cheesy because this was the early 2000s. Reality TV was a very popular thing. The Real World, Road Rules. So they tried to have that aesthetic about this where we would see a little bit of the action, the actual life of Norma Jean Baker, and then we would cut to whatever character she was interacting with. We would cut to that character in a chair as if they were being interviewed, and they were the actual person. This was real life. And we would have this dramatic zoom on their face, and they would tell us like, oh yeah, I liked her. Oh yeah, her? She was a dumb broad. I didn't like her. Oh, her? Yeah, she betrayed us. Oh, her? Yeah, she was a flimsy. Oh, her? Yeah, I've heard of her. It's an aesthetic, it's a style choice that I don't feel needed to be made for this film. This is based on a book of the same name, so I don't know if the book is structured like that, where it's a bunch of tellings from these characters' perspectives about Norma Jean Baker and how she acted around them. I don't know. And I'll be honest, I don't care to read it. I can only take so much shitty men in my life and in my head. And that's what I kept thinking this entire time. This is such a depressing story, and her life, what happened to her and the reason why she was addicted to painkillers was because, yeah, she was depressed. So it makes sense that this is a depressing story, but you have to have some releases of tension and moments of joy throughout there somewhere for the audience. That's just from an entertaining 101 standpoint. But this whole movie is so bogged down and it's so depressing. As I was watching it, I just felt myself get angrier and angrier and angrier. Which, kudos to the filmmakers, they're sparking an emotion out of me. There are films out there that I get no emotion from, but it's not an emotion I like dealing with. Just being angry and depressed and just shaking my head at the sexist, terrible, misogynistic things that are happening to this woman. And at first, I thought Poppy Montgomery, well, she doesn't really look like Marilyn Monroe, at least who I know Marilyn Monroe as, the actress from like Some Like It Hot, or the 7-Year Itch, which I was shocked. We didn't get any of the 7-Year Itch famous scene where she was walking over the subway vents and it was blowing up her skirt. That's like the most iconic thing of Marilyn Monroe. Wasn't in here. I'm not saying like it had to be. No, she could be her own person and we don't need to objectify her anymore. I'm just saying, history-wise, moving on. This movie is a chore. We have a stellar performance from Poppy Montgomery, but as the film goes along, we get introduced to her and the age of Norma Jean that she plays, the older that she gets, the more believable she becomes as Norma Jean. She plays her when she's in high school and she's auditioning for the school play, and you look at her and you go, you're not a high schooler, come on. We couldn't have gotten like a teenage actress to play her at this point. Come on. But then as Norma Jean starts marrying all these different men, she gets older and older and older. Then I start buying Poppy Montgomery more as this character of Norma Jean. And I don't think I've ever seen her before either, but she does an incredible job of capturing the mannerisms, at least of what we know of Marilyn Monroe and how she presented herself to the public. Her performance of Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend is almost spot on perfect. And that little giggle that Marilyn Monroe had, I think she does a great job of impersonating it. And she's able to do that laugh while she is, you can tell, hopped up on painkillers and drinking a lot of whiskey and just sitting there in the makeup chair trying to put on a brave face, trying to put on a happy face, even though deep inside she is breaking and she is depressed and she is falling apart. And once we're introduced to Poppy Montgomery, she never leaves the screen. It's her story, and she's in this entire thing. This film is almost 3 hours long. It's a TV film. She was great. She's the best part of this whole thing. The movie, though, is just really freaking depressive. You can't get around it. So if you're going to go into this movie, just know that. Know you're in for a very depressing time. I don't know, because I haven't seen the new version of Blonde or a new version, whatever, Ana de Armas, that version of Marilyn Monroe that she's doing. I don't know, is it on Netflix or Hulu or something? Or is it coming to theaters? I don't know. I haven't done any research on it. I just watch movies. So I don't know how well this one stacks up against that one, but I think it felt to me like this was a very honest telling of this character and of this time period that she grew up in, even though the film told me it was all fictional, so who the frick knows. I'm gonna give Blonde 3 out of 5 Blu-rays.
Not exactly what I had in mind, but not bad.
Alright everyone, though, because my favorite part of my video is where I randomly select which movie I'm going to be watching next, so let's take a look. The Wolf of Wall Street! Oh yeah! You talk about misogyny and toxic masculinity, yeah, let's go from Blonde to Wolf of Wall Street. Why not? Setting the record for using the F word the most amount of times in any films, I think like 506, I'm not sure. I love that movie though, it should have won Leo the Oscar. But instead, he had to share the screen with the actual winner that year of Best Actor, with Matthew McConaughey. Has to eat him up inside. So we'll check out Wolf of Wall Street next time. So guys, have you seen Blonde? What did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across because of this video, then comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you the next time I release my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time with my review of The Wolf of Wall Street. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.